Guess who they can't stop seeing, even with their eyes closed? Look who they can't stop thinking about anymore. Look who finally became the ghost that haunts every single one of their quiet moments. The name they can't say out loud without their voice cracking just a little. The memory that shows up uninvited at 3 in the morning when they're lying there wondering where it all went wrong. You. It's always been you. And now when it's far too late, when the doors are bolted and the bridges are ash, now they're finally understanding what they had. Now they're finally seeing what they lost, and it's hitting them like bricks. One after another, until they can barely breathe under the weight of their own stupidity. You want to know what's really happening right now? They're scrolling. They're searching. They're typing your name in search bars at 2 in the morning and then deleting it before they hit enter because they're terrified of what they might find. They're stalking your silence like it's a language they never learned to speak. They're asking mutual friends about you in that casual way that fools absolutely nobody. They're pretending they don't care while their hands shake when someone mentions your name. Because something shifted, something clicked, something in the universe finally whispered the truth they spent years running from. You were the rarest one. You were the exception. You were the one they'll spend the rest of their mediocre lives trying to replace and failing every single time. They thought you were common. They thought you were just another option in a world full of options. They thought they could find someone better, someone easier, someone who didn't challenge them or see through their performance or demand they actually grow. They thought you were replaceable, disposable, forgettable. And oh, they were so confident in that belief. They walked away like it was nothing. Like you were nothing, like everything you gave, everything you were, everything you offered was just some baseline experience they could recreate with anyone. They treated your presence like it was guaranteed, like you'd always be there waiting, like you'd always come back no matter how many times they chose someone else, something else, anything else. But here's the part that's destroying them now, the part that's keeping them awake, the part that's making them physically sick with regret. You didn't come back. You didn't wait. You didn't chase. You didn't beg. You didn't perform the role of the heartbroken fool waiting by the phone. You just left. And in that leaving, in that silence, in that absolute refusal to give them any more of your energy, you became unforgettable. You became the standard. You became the ghost that makes everyone else look like a cheap imitation. And now they're out here in the world, dating, talking, connecting, and every single person they meet is being measured against you. And every single person is falling short. They're trying so hard to convince themselves they're fine. They're posting pictures with new people, new places, new experiences, all carefully curated to look like happiness, to look like they've moved on, to look like losing you didn't crater their entire sense of reality. But you can see it, can't you? If you look close enough. You can see the emptiness behind the smile, the performance in the laugh, the desperation in how hard they're trying to prove they don't need you. Because people who are actually happy don't need to broadcast it like a hostage video. People who are actually over you don't need to make sure you see how over you they are. And every post, every story, every carefully crafted image is just another brick adding to the weight that's crushing them. Let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you the exact moment it all changed for them. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't some movie scene where they saw you across a crowded room looking incredible. It was quieter than that, crueler than that. It was the accumulation of 1,000 small moments where the person they replaced you with did something, said something, failed to do something, and their brain automatically thought, that's not how they would have done it. They would have understood. They would have known. They would have cared. It was listening to someone talk and realizing the conversation had no depth, no substance, no challenge. It was being in a room full of people and feeling completely alone because none of them saw them the way you did. It was waking up next to someone and feeling nothing. It was trying to share a joke and getting a blank stare instead of that specific laugh that used to make everything worth it. It was reaching for connection and finding performance. It was searching for substance and finding shallow. It was looking for magic and finding mundane. And slowly, painfully, inevitably, the truth started seeping in through the cracks in their denial. You weren't just different, you were better. You weren't just special, you were irreplaceable. And they, in their arrogance, in their foolishness, in their absolute refusal to see what was right in front of them, they let you go. Now they're remembering everything, every conversation, every moment, every time you showed up when no one else would, every time you understood without explanation, every time you saw through their walls and loved them anyway, every time you challenged them to be better, every time you gave them a level of care, attention, depth, realness that they took completely for granted because they thought it was normal. They thought everyone loved like that. They thought connection like that was easy to find. They thought wrong. And now they know it. Now they feel it. Now they're drowning in the reality that what they had with you was once in a lifetime and they treated it like it was nothing. You want to know what's really eating them alive? It's not just that they miss you. It's that they're finally seeing you clearly. For the first time, without the filter of their own ego, without the distortion of their own fear, without the blindness of their own immaturity, they're seeing who you actually are. And you're not who they told themselves you were. You're not the person they diminished in their mind to make walking away easier. You're not the flawed, difficult, too much person they convinced themselves they were better off without. You are brilliant. You are rare. You are the kind of person that comes along once and never again. And they're seeing it now. Now when it's too late. Now when you've moved on. Now when the door is closed and locked and you've thrown away the key. They're watching you from a distance now, and they can't believe what they're seeing, because you're not broken, you're not waiting, you're not diminished by their absence. You're thriving, you're glowing, you're becoming more of yourself every single day, and that is what's destroying them, because they thought losing them would break you. They thought you'd crumble. They thought you needed them more than they needed you, but you proved them wrong in the most devastating way possible. You proved that you never needed them at all, you just chose them. And when they made it clear they didn't value that choice, you simply chose differently. You chose yourself. And that self you chose is flourishing. Every picture they see of you, every update, every glimpse into your life now, it's like a knife, because you look free, you look happy, you look like you've been untangled from something that was holding you back. And the cruelest realization is hitting them now. They weren't adding to your life, they were weighing it down. You weren't hard to love, they just didn't know how. You weren't too much, they were too little. And now they're watching you shine for someone else, or maybe just for yourself. And they're understanding with brutal clarity that they were never your ceiling, they were your floor. And you've been rising ever since you walked away. Let's talk about what they're doing right now, because it's pathetic and satisfying in equal measure. They're comparing, constantly, obsessively, cruelly comparing everyone to you. The person they're with now, they're nice, sure, but do they get the references? Do they understand the silence? Do they know when to push and when to hold? No, they don't, because they're not you. The new friend group, the new routines, the new life they're trying to build, it all feels hollow because it's missing the one ingredient that made everything taste real. Your energy, your presence, your specific, irreplaceable way of seeing the world and seeing them. They're having experiences now that they wish you were there for. They're seeing things, learning things, going places, and their first instinct is to tell you, to share it with you, to get your take on it. And then they remember, you're gone. You're not theirs to share with anymore. You're not in their life anymore. And that absence, it's not getting easier, it's getting worse. Because time isn't healing this wound, time is making it deeper. Every day that passes is another day they're understanding more clearly what they lost. Another day they're feeling more acutely the space where you used to be. Another day they're realizing that the hole you left isn't something they can fill. It's something they have to live with forever. Here's what they didn't understand when they had you. They didn't understand that you were a choice you made every single day. You chose them over and over and over again. When they were difficult, you chose them. When they were uncertain, you chose them. When they were at their worst, their most unlovable, their most broken, you chose them. And they mistook that consistency for weakness. They mistook your loyalty for desperation. They mistook your love for something cheap and easily found anywhere. But now that they're out in the world trying to find it again, now that they're searching desperately for even a fraction of what you gave, they're learning the hardest lesson. Love like yours doesn't come around twice. And the timing of their awakening is almost poetic in its cruelty. Because you're done. You're not waiting by the phone. You're not checking their socials. You're not wondering what if. You're not holding space for them to figure it out. You've moved on. Not in the performative way they're pretending to, but in the real way, the deep way, the way where they genuinely don't occupy your thoughts anymore, where their name doesn't make your heart skip, where their memory doesn't steal your peace. You're free of them, completely, totally, irrevocably free, and they're realizing it, and it's killing them. They're trying to reach out in little ways now, aren't they? The subtle, like on an old photo. The vague post that seems directed at you. The message to a mutual friend that they know will get back to you. The accidental run-in that's not accidental at all. They're testing the waters, seeing if there's any chance, any opening, any possibility that you might still care enough to respond. And every time you don't, every time your silence holds firm, every time you prove that you're actually, truly, completely done, it's another brick, another weight, another crushing realization that they fumbled something they'll never get back, and they deserve every ounce of that pain. Let me tell you what's happening in their quiet moments. They're replaying it all. Every conversation, every fight, every moment they chose wrong. They're seeing now, with perfect painful hindsight, all the times you tried to tell them, all the times you showed them who you were and what you needed, all the times you gave them chances to step up, to meet you, to choose you back. And they're seeing how many times they failed, how many times they took you for granted, how many times they prioritized everything and everyone else, how many times they made you feel small when you were actually larger than life. And they can't undo, they can't go back. They can't apologize their way out of this one, because some doors once closed don't open again. You know what the cruelest part is? They're starting to see you in other people. They're meeting someone new and noticing your mannerisms, your phrases, your way of thinking. And it's not actually you. It's just that you set a standard, created a template, showed them what connection could feel like, and now they're desperately trying to find it again in anyone who remotely reminds them of you. But it's not working, because these people aren't you. They're echoes, shadows, poor imitations. And every time they try to force it, every time they try to recreate what they had with you, it just makes them miss you more. It just makes them understand more deeply that you were never a type. You were a once. They thought they were the prize. That's what's really getting them now. They walked around like you were lucky to have them. Like you should be grateful for their time, their attention, their half-hearted commitment. They really believed they were doing you a favor by letting you love them. And now they're understanding with humiliating clarity that it was the other way around. You were the prize, you were the catch. You were the one who was out of their league. And they, in their blindness, in their immaturity, in their staggering lack of self-awareness, they let you go. They actually let you go. And that mistake, it's gonna follow them for the rest of their life. Every relationship they have from now on will be haunted by you. Every connection will be measured against you. Every person will fall short because you set the bar, and you set it high, and you set it specifically, and no one else can reach it. They'll date people who are objectively great, kind, attractive, successful, and they'll still feel empty because none of them are you. None of them have your energy. None of them see them the way you did. None of them love them the way you did. And they'll break up with these perfectly good people, not because there's anything wrong with them, but because they're not you. And they'll do this over and over and over until they die. That's their sentence. That's their punishment. A lifetime of almosts and not quites and if onlys. Here's what they're feeling right now, in this exact moment, wherever they are. They're feeling regret so deep, it's physical. It's in their chest, in their stomach, in their bones. They're feeling it when they wake up, when they're trying to fall asleep, when they're in the middle of a conversation and they zone out thinking about you. They're feeling it when they see something that reminds them of you, which is everything. Because everything reminds them of you now. They're feeling it in every moment of silence, every beat of loneliness, every flash of memory that comes uninvited and unwanted, and they can't escape it. They can't outrun it. They can't drink it away or work it away or date it away. It's just there, permanent, unchangeable, the scar they gave themselves. And you're just living. You're not consumed by this. You're not drowning in regret. You're not wishing you could go back. You learn the lesson they still haven't figured out. Some people aren't meant to stay. Some chapters are meant to end. Some doors are meant to close. And when they do, you don't stand there knocking and begging and breaking yourself trying to get back in. You turn around. You walk forward, you find new doors, better doors, doors that actually want you on the other side. And that's exactly what you did. You walked away with your dignity intact, your standards high, your heart protected. And they're still standing there, staring at that closed door, finally understanding what was on the other side. Finally understanding what they lost. They're going to remember you for the rest of their life, not in the sweet nostalgic way, in the painful way, in the way that makes them cringe at themselves, in the way that makes them want to go back in time and shake their past self and scream, "What are you doing?" Don't let them go, in the way that makes every future partner feel like a consolation prize, in the way that makes them wonder, late at night when they're alone, what their life would be like if they'd just chosen differently, if they'd just seen you clearly, if they'd just valued what they had when they had it. But they didn't, and now they don't get to, and that's justice. So let them sit in it. Let them drown in the realization. Let them understand fully and completely that they had something rare and they treated it like it was common. They had something priceless and they acted like it was worthless. They had someone who would have moved mountains for them and they couldn't even be bothered to text back. Let them feel all of it. The regret, the shame, the loss, the emptiness, the desperate aching wish that they could go back and do it differently. Because they can't. And you're not going to help them feel better about it. You're not going to absolve them. You're not going to give them closure or forgiveness or another chance. You're just going to keep living your life, keep glowing, keep rising, while they watch from a distance and finally understand what they lost. It's hitting them like bricks now, one after another, the weight of their own stupidity, the crushing reality of their mistake, the undeniable truth that they let the rarest one go. And it's too late. It was always going to be too late. Because you don't get infinite chances with people like you. You get one, maybe two if they're feeling generous. But they burned through those chances like they were nothing. And now they're living with the consequences. And those consequences taste like regret, like loneliness, like the bitter knowledge that they ruined the best thing that ever happened to them. And they did it to themselves. So, here's to you, to the one who got away, to the one who they'll spend the rest of their life trying to forget and failing miserably, to the one who set the standard so high that everyone else is just disappointment in a different package, to the one who walked away with grace when they deserved rage, to the one who's thriving while they're barely surviving, to the one who was always too good for them and is finally acting like it. They're finally figuring it out. They're finally seeing you clearly. They're finally understanding what they had, and it's destroying them. And you're just fine, better than fine, free. And that's the sweetest revenge of all. You don't even have to do anything. Your absence is enough. Your happiness is enough. Your peace is enough. They lost you, and they'll never stop paying for it. Too late now. It's always been you, and they finally know it, and it's hitting them like bricks. And you're not there to catch them when they fall. And that's exactly how it should be.